Good afternoon, everybody. It's 4:30 on Friday afternoon, which is probably my favourite time of the working week, as I think it is for most people, because it means you can nearly stop working. Hopefully you have stopped working and you're listening to this. I am joined today by the wonderful, amazing Leanie Kaleido. Kaleido, even.
Leanie Kaleido.
Yes, absolutely. I knew I'd make a mess of your name. We were just talking
Graham.
about Graham. Coath.
How are you doing, Graham?
Coath. You got to get my surname wrong as well and say Coath.
Oh, is it? Oh, Coath. Coath.
Yeah, it's Coath. Okay, but everybody messes it up. Everybody messes it up. How are you?
I'm all right. I know that when we had a little chat earlier, didn't we, just to make sure everything was up and running, and I said that I would go and get out of my pajamas. I know it looks like I haven't, but this is actually a shirt, and I have now got my purple flares on.
That's cool.
Ta-da!
You're much more flexible than I am. I have to say, I'm not even going to attempt to try and get my leg up there.
I'm a yoga nut. As you can tell from my oversized mug. Yoga, tea, naps. That's what life's all about.
Yeah, with a bit of music in between, maybe.
Oh yeah.
it just needs music on there as well, and it would be absolutely perfect. So yeah, no, thank you for joining me. You were just saying as well that hopefully your dog won't join us. Can I just ask what's your dog's name?
He's Lord Flashheart. Flash to his mate. He's a whippet lurcher. He's beautiful, actually. He's a fawn colour with a sort of a bluey grey eyes and nose. But he's a loud little bugger. And when he gets excited, which is usually at about 4:30 on a Friday afternoon. But anyway, yeah, my little boy, well, he's not little anymore. My 10-year-old Arthur is upstairs, keeping him under control, I hope. So.
Oh, we wouldn't have minded. No one would have minded if your dog had made an appearance. Quite often.
You haven't heard him barking.
Well, mine's dreadful for barking. We've got a little sausage dog, a little Dachshund, and he just looks so unintimidating. But when he barks, he is ferocious, and it's just because he loves us. He wants to protect the family. That's what it's all about, and I think that's true love there. We've got lots of people watching, which is great. If anybody
don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Hello, everyone.
There's nobody watching whatsoever. No, there is.
Have you not got anything better to do with your Friday afternoon or whatever?
Yes, they haven't. No, they really haven't. They're just all working from home. They're fed up of it all. In
their pajamas.
Everybody else is in their pajamas. Absolutely. Now, listen, we should talk music. I was saying to you earlier, I'm really very, very grateful that you've hung a guitar on the wall, because it is becoming a little bit of a tradition that everybody I interview has look, a cat's just entered into the fray, which is marvelous. Oh, what's the cat's name?
This is Ninja.
Ninja, of course, Ninja cat.
Cool
Ninja cat. That cat looks as though it's thinking, where is the cup of tea that I'm going to knock over?
This guitar though, I mean, it's actually an Elizabethan parlor guitar. It's 4 strings. My father, I think, bought it for my mum. I think there's a story about he bought it on the way to the wedding and it kind of made him late to the wedding. I'm not sure if that's true. That might just be something I've sort of remembered in a drunken stupor at some point in my life. But yeah, it's gorgeous, but that's not the one I play. But I don't really play any of them properly. But
what do you play? What kind of guitar do you play?
What I play, I mean, I play a 6-string guitar, but I kind of use guitar as a songwriting tool. So I'm not a guitarist. I'm just a bit of a strummer, and I just use it to vary my songwriting. So a lot of my songs end up very sort of similar in tempo because I sort of write in a certain way on the piano. So obviously the piano is my main instrument. And guitar, yeah, I just thought I need to get some sort of rhythmic thing going so I can write silly little ditties. Because, I mean, anyone that's got all 3 of my albums will know that quite a lot of it's quite mellow and melancholy, but there's usually a sort of a funny song in there thrown in, 2 or 3 sort of silly ditties. And they're usually ones that I've just sat on the guitar mucking about. But the guitar I play at gigs, and I've just decided I've got tiny little hands, so I now.
So you need to have a narrow.
Well, it's not so much that, but I play a baritone ukulele, which is bigger than a uke. It's probably about the same size as this, actually. It's like a mini guitar, but it's only got 4 strings. Yep. And it's just nicer for my fingers, and it just does the job, and I love it. And it's easy to carry around. So
that's the thing, isn't it, about guitars? That's what I've always found about guitars, is that especially when the weather gets nicer again as well. I mean, pianos are a little bit of a faff if you just want to carry them and sit outside in the sun on a sun lounger and just twiddle away.
Yeah. You just can't carry your piano around with you. I've been offered a few slots in London coming up, which is really exciting / nerve-wracking. And one of my questions to them is, do you have a piano there? Because I need to come up on the train, and I'm not carrying my. I mean, this thing I'm sitting at here, you can't see it, but it's actually a baby compact grand piano. It's lovely. It's electric, so it's it's a bit a cheap one. But
how many octaves is it? Like five octaves? Is it?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 octaves. Okay. Right.
Yeah. But obviously
you're not going to carry that around then, are you?
No, I have a gigging keyboard, but again, it's really heavy. And then with an amp as well. No. So I need to sort of work out the logistics of how to do gigs again, because I didn't think gigs would ever happen again. So I thought, actually, this is a great time to release an album, because I don't have the pressure of doing gigs. I can just release it and do interviews like this and not actually have to go anywhere and play, because I'm a bit shy when it comes to. I know you wouldn't know it because I just waffle on at you. But yeah, I do suffer with stage fright, so
I've got an answer for you. I've sussed it. What we're going to do is, if anyone's listening or watching, and they just like to be Leanie's roadie and just carry around the keyboard for her through London or wherever else, that would be great. You don't get paid. Well, you might get a pint.
Yeah, that's about it.
But you'll get in to see the gig for free. There we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's fair.
Tickets would normally be like really expensive.
Exactly. So there you go. That's a great offer for someone. A chap called Steve, who's listening, said live performance.
Steve Smith. Yeah. Steve is, I have to say, one of the absolute joys of being. I'm a massive fan of Ride, the band, and I'm in a sort of a Facebook group called the Ride Ubers, and we're just all completely obsessed with Ride. And
that's
Steve
a great name, isn't it?
What? Ride?
No, the Ride Ubers. Yeah, I love that.
Steve is the sort of the chief Uber guy, and we met at a gig once, and I told him that I'd changed my name by deed poll to Kaleido after Kaleidoscope, that's on the first album by Ride, and he said, "Oh my God, you've got to be in the Uber." So I've been friends with him ever since, and I met up with him actually when I was recording in Oxford at OX4. And Steve came along and met me after for quick glass of vino after the session, and it was nice to catch up with him. But he and all the other Ride Ubers are so supportive of what I'm doing, and I kind of feel a bit embarrassed because they're obviously into really cool stuff like indie, shoegaze, which I am. Like I was chatting to you before, wasn't I, about how I really want to be PJ Harvey, but it's never going to happen. My songs just come out a little bit more floaty and twee. And but they've all those my Ride family, I like to call them, have just been so supportive. Quite a few of them have bought the album. And yeah, they're just lovely. They're so supportive, and big kiss for you.
I think that's the great thing about music, and especially certain bands attract or certain musicians attract a really nice family of people. I'm not talking about fanatical fans who
No. Well, that's the thing.
Talking about really nice family. I mean, as I said to you earlier, I know it's not your cup of tea, but I follow Marillion, and the fans are a beautiful family. They really are. If you saw someone down the street trying to get to a gig, you'd stop, you'd give them a right, it'd be fine. You'd have it, you go for a meal with them, you just talk about it's a lovely family, and they support each other as well as the band. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about
it. Really is. And over lockdown, the Ubers have been doing Zoom meetings. So we sort of agree on a time when most people, and we've got people in Japan are sort of staying up till 3 a.m. so that they can join in. And we've got they've got people in the States, various places in the States, Germany, just people all over the place. And then we're all on one screen going, hello, hello, and one's got a wine and the other one's got a beer, and we just all chat about all sorts of crap, really. And it's just really nice. It's been a sort of quite a supportive thing throughout lockdown, just to see their faces, because we're so used to seeing each other at gigs. So yeah, I can't wait for gigs to come back. Other people's gigs that I can go to, not mine.
and the link to Ride has continued. So tell me about this album and the link to Ride as well.
Okay, so so I mean, I was massively into Ride back in the day. Their first album came out. It just changed my world. I was wanting a sort of a stage name, decided on Kaleido, thought no more of it, really. I did it by deed poll and just went through life. Sort of people would say, oh, where's Kaleido from? And I would say, well, it's this band that used to exist back in 1990. And they were like, oh yeah, no, that's before my time. Blah, blah. And then in 2015, I think I read somewhere that they were getting back together and they were doing this tour, and they were gonna, and I was like, oh my god, that's so exciting. And that's when I met Steve from the Ubers and all the other Uber fans and just general Ride fans who were all brilliant. Well, they might not all be brilliant. Okay, disclaimer, some Ride fans might not be that brilliant, but all the ones I've met are.
They probably are, just to be honest.
So when I read that Mark had a studio, I think I'd had a couple of glasses of wine that night, and I thought, I want to record my third album. It's coming up for my 50th. It was. I'm now 50, which is like crazy.
I've got mine this year. Any tips for me? Just carry on, really. Yeah.
Don't clean your mirrors.
Good tip. Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Sunblock.
Got it. Thank you. Carry on. Carry on.
So I contacted the studio and just said, look, I want to record my third album. Here's some of the stuff I've done before. And I kind of thought no more of it. Woke up the next morning with a sore head. And I got a message back from Mark saying, I really like your stuff. He said, I don't get anybody in. I have to like their stuff and feel that there's something there. Really like what you've done before. Definitely, let's book up something. And yeah, ever since then, it's just the first session got held up.
Did you do a little happy dance when that?
I think I possibly weed myself a little bit as well. Did a little happy dance around the kitchen. And then thought, oh my god, I'd better just make sure these songs are good enough. So I spent the next few months working on the songs, making sure I had they weren't all written by that point. Then I was supposed to go and record, but I very stupidly slipped down a bank of grass really pathetically and broke my ankle in 3 places. And then I just managed
to do that.
No, it was a really silly idea. But then I finally managed to get into the studio. And actually, the time between breaking my ankle and going into the studio, I'd made a couple of tweaks to songs that had really made a difference to them. So, you know, it's all in the universe. Things work in mysterious ways. So it ended up being a good thing. And I managed to get in just before lockdown number 1. And then all in all, I think I did 4 sessions, and it was all sort of in between lockdowns where, yeah, we had to sort of obviously still keep our distance, but we managed to time it all. And I was absolutely bricking it. The first day, I just thought, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm too nervous. You know, I'm going to meet my idol. I literally used to like lick my ride posters because, you know, that, I mean, I was a sucker for like big lips and big pout and hair, holding a guitar. Oh, that's just my idea of heaven. So I was like completely in love with Mark. And as it turns out, you know, that thing where they say you shouldn't meet your heroes, but he is absolutely, he's just gorgeous. I mean, the hair's not there anymore, but but he's such a legend. He's a really nice guy. He put me at ease straight away. And we just got on really well. And yeah.
How did he put you at ease? What did he do? Did he have a little jam with you, or did he?
No, that would have freaked me out. I couldn't have done that.
Would it? You couldn't have done that.
Yeah, no, it was a little trick, and he admitted later it was a bit of a trick. But he picked me up from the hotel, so that was weird enough. You know, just getting into the car with him. It took me to the studio, and then when we got in there, he kind of said, "I've got this new coat. I'm not sure about it. What do you think?" And I said, "Well, I think it's really nice. You know, it's a classic. You know, that." Just waffled on about this coat, thinking, why is he asking me about what I think? You know, I'm just me. He's this God. And it just kind of snapped me out of this ridiculous kind of spell that I was under. And later on, he said, you know, that's actually quite a good trick, is just to sort of ask someone's opinion about something completely unrelated to music. And I said, well, it worked, because I was all ready to sort of get drunk at 10 o'clock in the morning just so I could sing. And actually, he's got the best selection of green tea as well, and he does it in a loose leaf green tea pot. He's got a kettle that only boils to sort of 85 degrees, so that the tea's
perfect.
So I've now got a kettle that only, you know, you can set the temperature, and loose leaf teas galore, and that's all down to him. Yeah,
I am totally there with that. I'm a green tea.
We did do music as well as drinking.
Yeah.
But no, he's a lovely guy. He's a really nice guy.
What did you learn from him that you took away from the experience as well? What did he teach you? Anything that, as an experience type of thing, that you've learned and that you've now taken away?
Yeah, I'd say the 2 things that I've taken away. One is that just such a boost in confidence, because just the fact that he was saying, you know, I would do a vocal take and he would say, God, parts of that are absolutely brilliant. And I'm thinking, really? You know, I'm not sure. The confidence from him really believing in the songs and being really genuine about them as well. And the other thing is just the way he paid attention to the ambient sound in the room. So he sort of sets up a mic in the corner of the room just to capture the whole ambience of the room, and I've never sort of experienced that before, and I thought that's a bit weird, but actually it's really worked. And you know, he obviously puts a lot of thought into the sound of my vocals as well, but it's that whole wanting to capture the whole sound. And the real piano was lovely to play as well. It's a lovely studio. And he's just had it extended, so it's now got sort of a kitchen and a living area, and it's beautiful. Really
and
nice.
you can hear that on the album. You can actually hear that. You can hear the fact that it sounds at times it sounds almost live, and that's really nice. Yeah,
that's kind of what we were going for. And with my previous 2 albums, certainly the second one, we kind of threw the kitchen sink at it. I recorded that at home with my now ex-husband. We're still great mates. He's actually a really good musician as well, very talented songwriter. And Yeah, but we did throw the kitchen sink at it, because my tactic is to always just cover up my voice, because I don't really consider myself a singer. I just think of myself as a songwriter who, you know, until someone else comes and sings the songs for me, I've got to do it myself. So I'm just kind of, it's almost like I'm standing in for someone better.
And we discussed that earlier, because that's not an uncommon thing with musicians. There's a picture of a man on the wall behind you who felt a similar way himself, the great Mr. Bowie. You know, more believed himself. Yeah, absolutely. I think you could be there. You could be there. But believed himself more of a sort of vehicle for the song and where it was going, and writing the song. And the voice was, you know, for him was just part of that vehicle.
Yeah. Another artist who I'm absolutely obsessed with is Joan Armatrading. Her earlier stuff in particular. I've met her a couple of times. She's lovely. And she has, in fact, there was a documentary on the other night, which I've seen a couple of times now, but in that she says, I had all these songs that I wanted to share with the world, and therefore I had to sing them. But I mean, I just love her voice, the highs and the sort of manly
lows. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so yeah, it's a bit of a sort of a weird mixture, but yeah, I've got Ride as my absolute all-time favorite band, and Joan Armatrading. But you're right. I think if you're a songwriter, you know, Adele or you know, Lady Gaga comes along and says, oh yeah, I'm going to cover that and make you £1 billion, you have to just sort of sing it yourself. So that's what I do.
I do love your little shrine, by the way, on the wall behind you. Just explain to people who the top photo is, because that's obviously someone that's of a major importance to you in your life.
Well, this is a poster of my father, Top Topham. He was the original lead guitarist in the Yardbirds, and then he left, various reasons, long story, but he left and carried on as a solo artist with Blue Horizon Records. And I've actually got, I wanted to show you the poster because it's a really cool poster, and that's normally on the other side of the room, but I wanted to show you because you've got all the Fleetwood Mac lot.
For all of those who are listening back to this on Spotify, Leanie is holding up a wonderful poster. And what does it say across the top there?
This is How Blue Can We Get?
How blue can we get?
And
what a wonderful sentiment.
Yeah, but my father, bless him, he's a really talented guitarist and artist. I didn't actually grow up with him. My mum married again, and so I was adopted by my mum's second husband. So I've always said that, you know, I got the musical genes from this man here, Top.
Yeah.
But I got the means to play through my other dad. You know, they're both my dads. I'm in touch with them both. I love them both. They're very different people, but it was my other dads who sort of bought me my first piano and paid for piano lessons. Not that I ever took much notice of what was going on in them, but I have them both to thank for being able to do music. So
yeah, and having parents, you know, having a parent like that that's so musical. I mean, that you must have had great music around you in the house always, I assume.
Yeah, well, like I said, we sort of my mum and my real father split at I was still very young, but
okay,
you know, we all kept in touch, and I'm quite lucky that my mum has got excellent taste in music. I mean, she's managed bands and stuff, so she's got a real ear for music. And my dad, the other dad, he had quite a good record collection as well. So I had all sorts of stuff going on. I had the sort of Joan Armatrading, bit of Yellow. Who else? I'm trying to think. Bit of Bread. I love a bit of Bread. But I'm talking about the band. I'm actually allergic to.
Yeah, I know. I understand. We're not talking about the stuff with gluten.
No.
No way.
But I was also I wouldn't say influenced musically necessarily. I mean, I think you might every now and then hear a sort of a bluesy thing going on. Yeah, and there's a couple of tracks that are a bit bluesy, but yeah, my father, just to sort of distinguish between the two, my father, Top, was very much a blues man. He's absolute hardcore blues. That's his thing. That's what he loves. And he's just an amazing player. He always said to me that it's the space between the notes that are just as important as the notes themselves. And he never
I've heard that from every single musician that I think is a god.
Yeah.
Every single musician that really knows their salt has always said that, you know.
And actually, when we were chatting earlier, we were talking about vocalists, weren't we? When they overdo the vocal acrobatics. Yep. It's really just because I'm jealous because I can't do all that stuff. But I do.
Are we though? Are we jealous?
No.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not, because one day you won't be able to do those acrobatics in the same way, and that's it, you know. And I just think when you've got a voice that's a really original voice, and it's the voice of a singer-songwriter, and it grows older with you, and it matures with you, and it changes as you grow. I mean, look at someone like Joni Mitchell, for example. Her voice deepened as she got older. It grew a bit more gravelly, etc. But you know, she matured. Her voice took her into a different music, you know, and it interpreted her music in a different way. I just think that's really what you want with a voice, isn't it?
Yeah, I hope so. And I think I kind of sing like I speak. Really, I don't change my accent. I don't think I do anyway. And my the ex-husband Jules, I ought to call him by his name. Jules always said that I had a lullaby voice, which I think that was him paying me a compliment. That, you know, it's a soothing voice. It's, you know, when I sing, I don't want to sound like I'm trying too hard, even though I am inside. I'm going, oh, please let this note come out right, please.
Now, this latest album, interesting title. Tell us a little bit about the title. I mean, I was, you know, talking just before I came on about the new Ben Howard album, and you said, yeah, I mean, he's got some interesting titles on here: The Strange Last Flight of Richard Russell and Metaphysical Cantations. But I think you're doing quite well yourself here with some of the titles.
Not too bad, yeah. How to Wear Well Without a Scale was a headline that came up on the BBC News website. I was just looking up, you know, what's going on today, and there was this headline, and it was talking about how to weigh this whale that they'd found. And I came home, as I often do, and just wrote a song about it. Sort of just I thought, I'm gonna, and it was a sort of a cheeky little, oh, how do you weigh your whale without a scale? And then actually, I mean, it was all right like that, but then I thought, oh, you know, this could be quite a good metaphor for love. You know, how do you measure love in its infinite wonderment, whatever? So it went from being a silly sort of like Wurzel song to a really moody, atmospheric, orchestral sort of thing about love.
You have to be really careful, right? Because I'm living in the West Country. You have to be really careful what you say about the Wurzels, because they are a big thing in the West Country.
I love the Wurzels, I do.
Oh, well, the thing is, my dear, when I moved down it, because you can tell I'm not from down here originally. When I moved down here from Bedford, you know, it was from Bedford originally, and. You know, suddenly it's like everybody's like, oh, the Wurzels are playing this Friday down at the local rugby club or whatever. And I'm like, the Wurzels, you know, and it's, but the Wurzels are like this act. I always thought, you know, they were just like this act that's, you know, a bit of a novelty band. But round here, you know, it's serious. It's a religion.
They do some good stuff, actually.
Absolutely. And actually, you know, I do miss in the you know, the charts and things like that. I do miss occasionally that people writing songs that are just a bit of fun. And is that where you're going with some of your little songs that you put on an album? Like, you know, Teapot Girl's quite fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you think it's fun?
I think that's quite fun.
It's really sad.
No, I think it's quite fun.
Yeah, I mean, Hat Thief is probably a bit more fun. Or there's a good song on the first album called Silicon Valerie, which is about exploding breast implants in an aeroplane. It's not autobiographical, I hasten to add.
But do you like, do you like to have something lyrically that's a little bit more fun occasionally? Just it's just not quite very serious, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about the lyrics, really, for me. I never sort of think of myself as breaking any musical ground with my chords. You know, I'm quite boring with my chords. You know, it's. But yeah, it's the lyrics, and I do like to get a bit of humour into the album if I can, so that it's not too miserable. Teapot Girl, I suppose. Yeah, the title makes it sound like it's going to be funny. And actually, it's just a song about realizing that you've spent the last sort of 10 years filling up with everybody else's crap, and you just pour it out like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I mean, I don't get the sense that you are taking life too seriously in that respect.
Oh, no. I just think it's hilarious. I'm still alive at the age of 50.
Yeah.
So, even the miserable songs are still, there's an undertone of, bloody hell, I'm still alive.
Yeah, well, and you said to me earlier, you've got your Buddhist faith, etc. Which
I'm a terrible Buddhist.
But and we were talking about, because I was talking about learning to play the recorder and Kumbaya, and you said, it's actually quite a cool tune, and you do little chants on a daily basis as well. How much of that goes into your music? Not necessarily in terms of what people are going to hear. Don't think for 1 minute, guys, that there's going to be Buddhist chants on this album.
It's not. Well, except there is.
Oh, right, okay.
In Kite String Mantra, there's a line that says, poison into medicine, the lotus flower blossoms in the muddiest of mires. Namyo Horenge Kyo, cause and effect, read what you said. So the Namyo Horenge Kyo is what we sort of chant, and it's basically, it's talking about the law of cause and effect. So it just reminds you to put out good stuff into the world, and it will just spread out like ripples in a pond. But I mean, I don't want, I'm a terrible Buddhist, terrible, but I do this chant every morning. Sometimes it's just in the car on the way to school, because I work part-time in a school, and it just sort of reminds me for that day, just smile at people, be nice, spread some goodness into the world. But so that's in Kite String Mantra, but by no means is it supposed to be a sort of
no. Did you have to check that you got the copyright for that to put that in there?
No, actually, the Buddhist group that I speak to did actually play it as at the beginning of the year. We had a sort of a big meeting online, and they said, "Oh, we want to play Leanie's song." So I was quite honoured, really.
Oh, that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's really very cool.
But other than that, no, I think I don't know whether my practice sort of spreads enough. No, I mean, I think my album is more focused on the crap that happens in life, because that's how I deal with it. If I didn't write songs, I would be absolutely insane by now, and I'm not far off.
And are you generally surprised on a day-to-day basis that the kind of people that listen to your music? Are you
Yeah.
Is that quite a nice thing in a way? Just when you hear that, someone coming back and saying, "Oh, I really love your album." That's really nice.
Yeah. There's one track on the album that I wasn't so sure about, because I thought it's a little bit twee. It's a sort of a kind of a love song type thing, and I thought, I'm not sure, is it a bit cheesy? And one of my
which one's that?
Sweet Science. It's kind of comparing love to a boxing match.
Yep.
And one of my friends in the States said that it's her earworm at the moment, and I said, I hope you mean earworm in a good way. And she said, oh yeah, I love it. So it's just really nice to know that I'm getting pleasure out of writing songs, but you know, even if you just get the odd comment back to say, I love that song, it means something to me. It's just, I know it sounds really corny, but it does really make your day to hear things like that. You know.
No, no, not at all. I think that's wonderful. As you say, playing live is a bit of a frightening experience.
Yeah.
But
I used
you
to
know,
get so drunk just to sing. I've actually stopped drinking and see how long that lasts, but so I might have to. I'm going to cope with gigs. Oh no, I hadn't thought about that.
you will be fine. You will be fine. Yeah. No, we discussed that earlier. Basically, if you are putting on a gig with Leanie, what you need to do is you need to make sure that the lights are quite dark over the audience. Is that a good idea? Dark lights over the audience so she can't see the audience. Big stage, quite a way back from the audience,
and not near a full moon.
Yeah,
not near. I mean, in the calendar month near, not proximity to the moon.
Yeah.
Right, shut up now.
and then she will be absolutely fine. But also give her a good rider prior to the gig.
I wonder what you're going to say then.
Well, comes back down to ride again, doesn't it? There we go. Yeah, there we go. So what's the plans for the rest of this year? I mean, nobody knows, but for you, I mean, do you start writing another album? Are you gonna tinker around with some new songs?
Yeah. I woke up the other day with a song going around in my head and got up and wrote down some chords and lyrics and stuff. So yeah, I'm always tinkering about with songs. I'm not in any hurry to make another album. I'm just gonna see what happens. I'm gonna hopefully get a bit less scared of gigging and do some more gigs. Hopefully these ones come up in London. I'll look at a couple of venues and see if that's a viable option. I'm also I'm looking at maybe doing some collaborative stuff with John O'Harrison, who plays guitar on a couple of songs on the album. He's also a brilliant songwriter, and he and I are looking to maybe do some dream pop stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which would be lovely because it means I can sort of go all Cocteau Twins and go crazy with the harmonies. Because I mean, I just love layering harmonies.
Are you going to make a language up a bit like Liz? You know, can you go there? You know. No,
I think I'm going to stick to
English. Yeah, probably a good idea. Talking about that collaboration thing, have you considered that? Have you considered from a live point of view as well? Maybe doing a shared gig with a couple of other musicians, so it's not quite so frightening. You can almost hold each other's hands. I mean,
that's kind of what I've been doing up until lockdown. Was going to Songwriter Nights, playing a half-hour set. I did one up at the Pheasant Tree and the King's Road. That was a really nice gig, and they've got a grand piano there, so that was really good fun doing that one. I mean, that's the kind of thing. Songwriter Nights are a good way of getting your stuff out there, and people that go are actually going because they want to listen, you know, so it's usually quite a nice vibe. So yeah,
good. Right, so thank you so much for talking to me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. In terms of, well, I told you, it just flew, and that was actually 40 minutes. It was longer than I said it was going to be.
The puppy hasn't barked.
Just like that. In terms of where people can get hold of your music, because that's the really important thing. Where can they get it?
The first two albums are in CD format as well as online. So
very, very nice.
iTunes. I've still got boxes of CDs in my cupboard upstairs. So I'm hoping to be able to sell a few of those at gigs at some point. But this third album, I decided just go digitally to start with, and just see how it goes. So this one is available on Bandcamp, ideally, is where we actually make us poor struggling artists, you know, actually make a bit of money back from it.
Especially on a Friday normally. Especially today's a good day normally.
Yes. Buy the album today because I think they waive the revenue percentage or whatever. So
correct.
I thought about that.
But do it today, folks. Buy the album today. Big plug.
But to those who've already bought it, thank you so much. It just, honestly, it just means the world. And you can get all of it on Spotify as well. Spotify there. My Spotify, I just wish I got some money from it. But
yeah, no, I think everybody feels the same. This ends up on Spotify as a conversation. It's useful. I think it's useful from that point of view, in as much as they do allow me to put a little bit of your music in and around the conversation. It gets people to listen to it and hear it. Ultimately, though, I'm very old school. I like people to buy vinyl, CDs, or whatever they can that's physically tangible and it's in your hand. Yeah, you know, and that's why I also think, and maybe you thought about this, you need a T-shirt. Yeah, if you haven't got a T-shirt already, you need a T-shirt. Just because I believe this is a great campaign. If you're gonna download it, buy a T-shirt, or if you're gonna stream it, buy a T-shirt. Yeah,
that's a good plan, actually.
It is. In fact, why not have a T-shirt? I've always wanted an artist to do this. Have a T-shirt that said, "I've been streaming," and then a picture of the album on Spotify, but I've bought the T-shirt on the back.
That's actually a really good idea,
isn't it? It's genius marketing.
Yeah,
you can do it. Yeah, brilliant.
And I've got a fabulous. She's also a ride fan. Sarah Truckle. I love her. She's brilliant, and she's a great graphic designer. And she came up with my logo and for the cover art for the How to Wear World Out Scale. Not the album. Well, she did the album cover. Well, she did everything. She's brilliant. So yeah, I'm going to get her onto T-shirt design next. Sarah.
There we go.
My girl.
There we go. Yeah. So, I'm extra large.
Okay.
Send me one. I'll model it.
After lockdown. Seriously.
Oh goodness, hey. You know, I think I did a health and wellness, because that's the other thing that I do. I did a health and wellness event yesterday, and I had some top class nutritionists come to talk about food. And I sat there the whole time thinking, oh my goodness, you know, I put this event on, but actually, you know, and they were talking about things like snacking, and you know how partners are really bad and try and get their partner to eat crisps or chocolate of an evening. I think, happens in our house. But you know, what can you do? When you can't get out?
Yeah, you just gotta eat.
You got to eat. You've got to eat. Maybe a song on the next album about being as big as a whale. from lockdown eating. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to speak to you. I believe you probably had quite a few people from your ride Uber group. I still can't get over that name. I think that's fantastic. Listening to this, I hope some of them break off into a mini little group that just follow you as well.
No, that would be weird.
Full time, and we get all of them to because I'm sure they've already bought the album. Buy the T-shirt. Yeah. Okay. And at some point when we can gather again, I'd like all of you that do buy the T-shirt to gather in a little group and get a group photograph as a little bit of a sort of and post it on social media. Post it to me, because social media is my job, and I will make sure it goes everywhere across social media. And that will be a beautiful thing. And your dad will look at that and be so proud, I think.
Both of them. I'm really greedy in the dad stakes. Can I also, I just want to, before we go, is just to say a big thank you to Shauna at Shameless PR, because she has just been monumental in getting my stuff played all over the place. So I'm really lucky to have her on board. So thank you, Shauna.
I think, I'll say thank you as well, because Shauna lines up these interviews for me. She's absolutely tremendous. And I think she's amazing at what she does, because I think it's because she understands. That's what I'm going to say. I think it's because she understands. She absolutely loves music, and she knows how hard it is to get music out there because she's produced music herself. But I hope, a bit like Tesco, that every little helps, and that this helps in some shape or form, and we get you some new people to buy the album and to buy the T-shirt when it comes out as well. So it's
what about a musical T-shirt?
A musical
little thing where you press it, and it like one of those birthday cards that. Right, I'm definitely waffling now. Get me off the screen. I won't stop. Seriously.
No. That's a wonderful idea. But maybe leave that one till Christmas.
Yeah.
And do a Christmas song.
I've done that. It's on YouTube. Cardboard Christmas, Leanie and the Xmas Factors. It's actually got the most views of all of my songs.
Well, that's the one that the Christmas T-shirt plays.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I just think you need the one where people say that they've streamed it on Spotify, but they bought the T-shirt, because I just think that's a thing that we need to get people into. In the meantime, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute giggle and a pleasure. And
thank you.
Next time you write an album, do come back and talk about that one as well.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rem.
Bye for now.